When you listen to the news, do you ever get this feeling you're not getting the whole truth about anything at all? Do you ever think like they're not giving you the whole story and they're hiding things and they're not telling you the whole truth about the situation? And I ask myself, well, what good is the news anymore? I mean, all they ever show us is the bickering and the fighting and, they hate each other and the name calling and they're going to do this to the president and they're going to do that to the president. I'm not saying that I'm against the president, but what I am trying to say is, aren't they supposed to be helping us and telling us what to do? Isn't our government supposed to be helping us and telling us what we need to do for ourselves to protect our homes and our families? But they don't. I mean, think about a 1-minute clip that they show, or they don't actually show anything. They just say Somalia had an invasion of locusts and it destroyed their crops, and they were trying to figure out a way maybe to poison them, to kill them off so that they don't spread further and destroy more crops. Oh, do you hear anything else about it? Of course not. That's their news, giving you a 1-minute clip on something and never telling you anything else about it. Well, are they doing the same thing to us in our food situation? Oh yeah, I definitely think they are. I definitely think they are not giving us the truth on things, because they don't give us the truth on anything else either. And so it's just like when the situation with Iran came up, and I heard on the news say, well, Iran has the capability of hacking our grid. Oh, really? So they have the capability, but do they come out and tell the people, well, just in case, I mean, we're doing the best we can here to keep an eye on it and make sure, try to make sure it doesn't happen. But just to be on the safe side, people, maybe you should consider, getting a little extra food and keeping a little extra water on hand. Oh, no, nothing. They say nothing. And because they say absolutely nothing, you got a whole lot of people in this country who sit back, who trust them, who believe them, and say, well, if it was a serious issue, they'd come out and tell us. No, they wouldn't. I got news for you folks. They would not tell us. We would be sitting with absolutely nothing, no food, no water, no nothing, and we wouldn't have a clue. There's a lot of people that live from paycheck to paycheck, and they barely can keep a quarter tank of gas in their car because they got to wait till Friday to get paid again to fill it up. And they'd be sitting there with no gas to get anywhere because they trust the news and our government to be honest with us and tell us the truth. And they're not. So, really, we have to really trust ourselves and be careful. I said to myself that I've always put food away. Always have for hard times. But I don't now just say to myself, well, I just have to look at hard times in my family, maybe a lost job or an income cut. No, I have to look at other things now besides just that. Because I'm looking at our news and I'm looking on our government and I'm knowing that neither one are giving us the whole story or being really honest with us. And so I say to myself, maybe it's a good idea to keep a little extra gas just to be on the safe side. Maybe we need to keep a little more water just to be on the safe side. Because we can't trust what we see on the news anymore. We can't trust them to be honest enough to tell us the truth about anything anymore. They themselves do nothing but to protect themselves. Stop and think about who sponsors the news. Companies do. And so many times they don't even come out and tell us the truth about those companies or the danger that it might be to us because, hey, they run commercials for these companies. And so they keep things hid until something actually comes out and it's a big one. And then they finally report on it. But they've known about it all along. They just don't tell us. Until it becomes an issue that the public knows because it gets out there through the net. And so then they finally have to report on it. But they don't until they have to. So folks, let's not sit and just trust what we're being told on the news. and take their word at anything anymore, or our government's word at anything. I think things are far worse than what they're telling us. You know, all of this to me is nothing but a smokescreen to lull us, to keep us occupied, to think, oh my gosh, look at what they're trying to do, until the big one hits us. I really think this is what all of this is about, is to keep us occupied. A smokescreen. You know, the American people, one thing about them is they're very forgiving and very forgetful. And so many times we forget what they've done in the past, things that they've said, things that they've done. And they bank on that. They bank on that we don't remember. Until somebody, you know, maybe in the news does refresh our memory, we forget. And we realize just how little we can trust any of them. We only can trust ourselves. And we have to do something to protect ourselves. And I think, you know, whatever it is that you and your, you know, because each of us are different. Each one of us has a different idea of, you know, how we want to preserve food or how we want to put food aside. That's great. I don't like to bicker over, well, I think my way is better than your way. Just do something. That's what counts. Do something to protect your family. Because we're not being told the truth. I can't repeat that enough. It's a smokescreen. I've lived long enough to know, to see. You know, is there ever any forewarning? Have they ever given us any forewarning? Nah. Do you any of you remember, you know, the gas vouchers that they gave? Did you know that that's what was going to happen? Nope. Did you know the recession was coming? No. None of us did. We're never given a warning, but yet they do know. They do. They see the signs, they see the warning signs, and they know it's going to happen. And instead of coming out and warning the people, they don't. They just sit there. And then families are devastated. They lose their homes, they lose their cars, they lose their livelihood, and they're sitting there with nothing. Because they honestly really don't care. It doesn't affect them personally because, hey, they have money. They're sitting in the government, they get a paycheck every week. And we pay for it. So they don't really care. It doesn't affect their lives, but it does ours. And so we need to do everything we can to protect ourselves. God bless you. Please keep stocking and storing and have a blessed day.